Hello, good people. Hello, and welcome back to another car conversation. Y'all know the situation. Y'all know why I'm still inside. I hope everyone is doing well. Um, we have to talk about Kamala Harris's VP pick, Tim Walz. How y'all feeling? What do y'all think? What do y'all think? Put it in the comments. What you thinking about her VP pick? I'm going to give you some of the qualifications that I think he possesses for the position. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about what I personally like and what he brings to the ticket. So let's have this discussion. All right, so qualifications. Number one, he was in Congress for 12 years. He has served as governor for 6 years and a veteran for 24 years, I believe. So 24 years of service. He's a veteran from the Midwest, grew up on a farm, farming in the Midwest, teacher, educator, and coach for another 20 years, I believe. And father, husband, not that those are necessarily qualifications that a person needs to have for me. However, there are a lot of people in America that those tend to be qualifications for. And I'm going to circle back to those two specifically. But, you know, when you're a teacher, as I am an educator, especially when you're dealing with K through 12, you are much more than a teacher. Just to think that you're going to come in and teach whatever the subject is nonsensical. Like you're just fooling yourself. You are teacher, you are counselor, you are confidant, you are nurse, you are therapist, you are financial consultant, you are the surrogate parent for 8 hours a day. Like there's so much that goes along with educator. And then on top of that, he was a coach. So that 8-hour day extended for him probably another good, I don't know, 3 hours every day minimum. And then you had weekends with football games and things like that. And, you know, it depends on how the extent of his mentoring with his students and his players. I mean, there's a lot that goes into the education system. This is why, you know, just what you see in the news and media in regards to, you know, teachers should be paid more. It's literally like in America, everything is flip-flopped. We pay more for entertainment than we do for people who are molding minds, who are educating the future. And it makes no sense to me. It's baffling to me. And I've been in the entertainment industry as well. And to be behind the scenes and see some of the things that happen behind the scenes and see how uneducated a lot of people are, just in general, but about a lot of different things that are in the entertainment industry. But again, that's our country's structure. We pay more for entertainment. We pay more attention to entertainment than we do people that are molding young people's minds and in our future. So, but good thing for our Tim Walz, he has spent a lot of time doing that. So there are a lot of great qualities that I am positive he can bring or will bring to his position as vice president from all of these different walks of life. Time he spent in Congress, the time that he has spent as a governor, educator, coach, veteran, leader in a lot of different spaces, and then, you know, parenting and husband from the Midwest. And those things are going to connect to different people in different ways. So therein lies why I believe that he was chosen over, you know, a lot of people were going on about Josh Shapiro. But, you know, first of all, there are 19 electoral votes in Pennsylvania that the ticket needs, Kamala Harris needs to actually win. So that, first and foremost, that was number one with Josh Shapiro. And then, you know, people have compared him to, saying he's Obama-esque. I don't necessarily agree with that. I would be more inclined to give that to Kamala, but hey, you know, to each his own. So I think the most important thing that people are saying was a loss with not selecting Josh Shapiro are those electoral votes. But again, you have to look at some of the, you know, the cardinal rule for selecting a VP is to do no harm. Like, this person will do no harm to the ticket. And Josh Shapiro posed some difficulty. Also, some people are bringing up some of the things that Tim Walz has, I guess, done in the past, which one of them is actually a pro for me. So I'm going to get to what I have been impressed with. I'm going to skip to that. So number one, how Tim Walz handled the George Floyd situation. Now, the National Guard component of it, I don't necessarily agree with. But if you remember, Minnesota is where this went down, right? And there were people that were burning, you know, setting buildings on fire and things like that. So Tim Walz did what he felt like he needed to do. The piece that I am impressed with is when Tim Walz stepped in and said, you know what, the people don't feel like this DA is going to give the proper attention and the proper unbiased attention to this case. So he moved the case from the DA to the Attorney General, which was Keith Ellison, I think still is, Keith Ellison. And we all know how that case turned out with those officers. So kudos to Tim Walz on that from me. I'm really was impressed by that. His personal stance on and sharing his experience with IVF, didn't have to do that. That's something that's very personal to his family. And in sharing that experience, we know where he's going to stand in regards to women's rights, in regards to controlling their own bodies and bodily autonomy. So I love him for that. And I love him for actually sharing his personal experience with IVF and how, you know, each and every night praying for children and the disappointment that's connected to when you get that phone call when things didn't work out. I have so many friends. I have so many friends that have had that same experience. I have some right now that are struggling and are in the IVF experience. So I really love that about him. His stance in regards to, even though he's a hunter, he said, I'm a hunter, he's also a veteran, but his stance on gun control, you know, I believe in the Second Amendment, and this has been my experience. But I also believe that children have the right to go to school and not go to, you know, live in fear. You know, that something is going to happen. So he implemented gun control strategies in Minnesota. He actually codified it into law, background checks. So kudos to him on that. Universal school lunch. You have probably seen this video floating around social media where he signs the universal school lunch bill into law and the children just start hugging him. And this is for children in Minnesota, period. No matter what the parent's income is, they are guaranteed, if they need to eat breakfast or lunch at school, they are guaranteed to receive those meals. So kudos to him on that one as well. He gave, so his stance on giving more tax breaks to the wealthy, he's against that. And I'm definitely against that, because if you have read Project 2025, or you've watched my video on Project 2025, you will know that that is what 45 and his camp want to do, is give even more tax breaks to wealthy individuals and corporations and people like me, and middle class people or working class people, increase their taxes by 1%. I'm already paying taxes. I mean, I literally have to pay taxes this year. So, yeah, it makes no sense. It makes no sense that billionaires don't have to pay taxes and I have to pay taxes. Like, I'm already paying taxes every day on goods and things like that. But again, really? Okay, so he also, Tim Walz also raised the minimum wage and passed legislation for paid leave in Minnesota. He is also, I forgot this, he was also a union leader, so he strongly believes in people being able to unionize. He protected the ACA for Minnesotans so they can have access to health care. Now, what does he do for the ticket? Let's talk about what he does. Those are the things that I'm impressed with. So far, those are the things I'm impressed with. I also just like that, he seems like the jovial kind of guy, kind of the guy that probably tells some dad jokes here and there that may or may not be funny. One who clearly likes to hang out with his kids and loves young people. I love that about him. I love that from what I can see, I love that about him. He just brings brightness and joy, and he still says what he wants to say, which that's another quality I like too. He says what he wants to say and he stands on what he says. So I really like that quality, but he delivers it with a smile. He delivers it with a smile. And there's something about that. Like, you can say whatever you need to say, but when you follow it up with a smile, it's people just a little confused by that, like, did she just, but wait, they smiled. So how is that? It just causes a little confusion, but you still convey your message, right? You still let people know exactly how you feel. I like that. I like that he pulls that group that was the group I was, part of the group that I was worried about. Remember, I did this whole video and I was like, why Kamala can't be at the top of the ticket? We're going to lose the people that are only going to vote for this ticket because of Joe Biden. Those, middle age to boomer age, Caucasian males, and then you've got a lot of Caucasian women that will vote against their own interests, vote for with their husbands, things like that. He will hopefully capture that group. You have that Midwest connection as well, as people see, Kamala as this liberal Californian. She's actually more progressive. He kind of balances that out, right? So you get that group back. You get the veteran group. You get the veterans. You get people that were just basically going to like sit on the bench. You got the teacher connection. You've got the coach and the player connection there. You've got the veterans, like I've said. You got that Midwest connection. He just gives you that all around kind of balanced, traditional, what people envision when they think of the traditional American Midwest dad kind of guy. That's what he brings to the ticket. So the relatability is high. And at the end of the day, like I said, brings more joy, lightness. There seems to be, you can see the kind of chemistry there between the two of them. So I like it. And I'll be honest, I was kind of leaning towards Josh Shapiro, but I did take issue with Josh Shapiro's response to the protesters protesting on campus. I did not care for that. and then his leaning into his staunch support for Israel in regards to not a balanced conversation, not a balanced enough conversation for me in regards to preservation of life and the massacre that we're witnessing in the Middle East, and how they like to say Israel has a right to defend itself. But at this point, is Israel defending itself? I mean, didn't they cross that bridge a long time ago? Like, this is a massacre. I've seen more and more horrific things every day. Disease has set in, famine has set in. Like, there's no balance here. There's no balance, but that's another conversation. So those were my issues with Josh Shapiro. I would not, again, compare him to Barack Obama. I don't believe there's any comparison to Barack Obama, but if I had to, I would be leaning towards Kamala Harris. She's definitely bringing the energy. She's definitely bringing the Obama energy. So let's just call it the Kamala energy. Let's let her have her own energy. Her and Tim Walz, from the window to the walls, they have their own energy, and I love it. Love it. I will talk to y'all soon.